Hello. Hi, Xiuling, and hi, Tajul. And to everyone who's tuning in, thanks for joining us. So, first off, before we start our session today, and this is actually our second episode of What's Your Take? So, we had this first episode last December, and today we are discussing, for this second episode, we're discussing about Chat GPT and the war for talent. So, today we have with us here two of our speakers here. I'm going to introduce them and I'm going to let them share a little bit about themselves. So we have Siu Ling, she's the CEO of MyWave, which is actually a HR consulting company and HR payroll company as well. Siu Ling, would you like to say a few words?
Hi, thanks, Janisha. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for inviting me to be able to share a little bit about, you know, our knowledge in the area of Chat GPT. Um, I have been in the talent or HR industry, I think, since 1996. I started my career in the area of recruitment, and we have actually experienced and we have seen the change, when we handle recruitment process from a very manual, to the point of using system. And then after I ventured into the HR tech company MyWave, I have also been to seeing a customer, when our software is still in a very infant stage, trying to introduce how automation can help the HR industry or the people there, and what are the reluctance, and rejections that I have been receiving. Until today, I think digitization, technology, AI, from what we thought it will not happen for the past few years, when I approached all those customers, today it has happened. So I guess technology change, the reluctance of changing, the reluctance of adoptions is always there. And I think everyone here might have been in my same shoe, experiencing those change that you cannot accept the change, but now it has changed. So I guess this round, when we talk about Chat GPT, I'm sure some of you or most of you has already experienced how it actually beneficial to you when you approach Chat GPT, asking it about your questions. So I hope this session we can discuss a little bit more. I hope can also share with the more people here to actually put in more effort in understanding all this technology change and adopt to it.
All right. Thank you, Siu Ling.
No
So for
problem.
those who have just joined us, I was just asking Siu Ling to introduce herself a little bit and about her company, what does the company do and what does her company provides. So next up, I'd like to invite Tajul. Thank you for also our Muslim friends for joining us because I know today is the first day of Ramadan. And thank you for joining us for this first day of Ramadan as well. So Tajul, over to you. You can share about yourself as well as what you provide, what you do.
Oh, thank you, Janisha. Thank you for inviting me to join this talk together with Swiling as well. My name is Tajul. I run my own health tech consulting company, and I also have another startup that I'm currently building, focusing on elderly care. So my experiences with ChatGPT has been so far both shocking and overwhelming, I would say. I think most of us probably have tried a little bit of ChatGPT and how it works and all that. And I've been using it in my daily work as well, right? As I said, I also have my own startup, so I use ChatGPT in terms of helping me, coming up with contents, coming up with strategies, and the usual use of digital marketing, copywriting, and whatnots lah. So I think today is going to be an interesting topic. We are delving into something that is revolutionary. I think this is another inflection point in I would say human and technology. That is something that we cannot avoid lah, right? So there's no other way but to change and adapt. That's all for me, Janisha.
All right, thank you, Tajo. Thank you for your introduction. And also, I'd like to thank all those who just tuned in. And that we noticed you are from all over the world. Okay, for those who are not aware, we actually, the three of us are from Malaysia. We are actually at this time of the time, it's 8 p.m. at night for us. But thank you for joining us from all over the world. And something very interesting about today's talk, as we're talking about Chat GPT, as you have read the description of this talk, I actually use Chat GPT for that, and that's what it is actually written by Chat GPT. So it's interesting that how now we are relying a lot more on what Chat GPT is providing to us, especially now with the GPT-4, and we will be also talking about later on. We'll probably have a show of hands, who has already tried that and who's using that. Maybe just to start off first, can I have if you know how to use the reaction button, on this LinkedIn audio event, just give me a show of hands, like how many of you are actually already using ChatGPT or using GPT-4. Just raise your hands or give me a thumbs up, with the thumbs up thing, and then we can see how many of you are actually using that. Wow. Okay, we have a lot. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. So many of you are using. Yes, I can see that the hands. And I think all of you are also. I'm very sure. Really enjoying the process. Okay, it's actually quite fun. I think we are, as we explore the benefits of ChatGPT, we can see how much it is making things so easy for certain type of work. But then again, and this is what actually ChatGPT gave me. He said some argue that AI will create new jobs, increase productivity, and lead to overall economic growth. But others suggest that AI may actually lead to significant job displacement, meaning people will lose their jobs because of this. So this is a point of discussion afterwards. And it also says that automation now lead to cost savings, increased efficiency for business, but it also means that some jobs may become obsolete. So we want to discuss this today about whether is this going to happen. Are some jobs really becoming obsolete? And we want to enjoy the benefits of AI, and automation. But at the same time, we want to see. That's why today we have Xiu who is she's from the HR industry, and Tajul from the health tech industry, and we want to hear from what's their take about this. So the first question I would like to ask, maybe I will ask this to Xiu first. The war for talent, it continues, as you see many companies trying to hire, and yet there are still many who are unemployed. In Malaysia, for those who are joining us from the other parts of the world, in Malaysia, unemployment continues to be a problem here. Although we have a lot of unemployed people, but we still have unemployment, a very high rate of unemployment. So at the same time, so do we see this use of AI or ChatGPT increasing? Do we see this actually affecting how this hiring process? Does it help us in terms of our manpower placement? What's your take, Xiu?
Yeah, thank you, Janisha. Actually, indeed, I'm not so sure if everyone aware here. One of the reason AI or automation come into play, one of the critical reason, it was because many industries are facing issues in hiring and also retaining talent. I think topics about hiring, retaining talent has become more and more, and up to today, I think we have started to see quiet quitting every day, new things about talent. So, in the whole recruitment process, based on my personal experience, it is very painful. From the point of you got to know the hiring needs, to sourcing, to interview, spend time, spend money in advertising. And then you hire and you train, you place them into job, and they resign. The process start all over again. So I guess this has contributed, one of the key reasons of making this automation come into the picture. And initially, when those people who design this are trying to not only trying to actually create the efficiencies in the organization, but at the same time there are also something back of at the back of the mind when they do this design is to see if this can help to reduce the dependency on relying on talent to perform the job. So that's why there are topics about, you know, repetitive jobs, non-value added jobs has started to actually become robotic or being managed by system. So I think shortage and difficulties in maintaining talent is one of the key reasons. However, I think Chat GPT, since all of you have tried, I'm sure you have seen answers that given to you might not, you might not think is accurate or might not be relevant. So I would say it is still new and it has its limitation to what it can and how it can contribute to a different task. Ultimately, the one who designed this chat GPT is actually us, is human, all right? It is actually related to how we design, how we program, and how we train the algorithm. Many tasks that being performed by people can now be performed more effectively by AI, but it still requires to have some level of human oversight, validation, and also intervention. So I think all the worry about uh, replacing labor and all these things, I think we need to be a little bit more positive about this. Not really everything can be replaced. Okay, and I think the learning style among people has also changed due to AI. For example, in the past, traditionally, a person will be given a different and higher role in a company in a different phases. For example, when I was first hired by a company, I will start with a junior executive, and slowly, after gaining some experience, I will grow into maybe senior exec, or either management path or technical individual path. But I think today with the AI technology, the learning experience, whole experience has changed drastically. People has now have access to information and knowledge easily. The process knowledge, you know, especially AI or ChatGPT help us look into many information that available in the market and consolidate and give us a summarize of what the opinion shared by the chat GPT, which help us learn faster. So instead of in phases, many people can easily improve their experience a lot faster, or even the knowledge a lot faster utilizing information provided by AI, and they move on to another level and continue acquiring more knowledge through the help of AI, again and again. So in other words, instead of focusing on creating more jobs, the topic about whether it helps to create more jobs or it displace human labor, I think we should make good use of such technology to improve ourselves instead of worry about it. Instead of worry about AI, I think the tech, how to say, the keyword is we make it as our IA, which is an intelligent assistant. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Xiuling. Very interesting. You are saying that now, okay, we turn the table a little bit there and saying that it's IA, intelligent assistant, and
Yes.
actually they assist us rather than we are relying too much on it, and then we lose our job because of that.
Yeah.
So, and that's interesting. It's very interesting insight from you, Xiuling. What about you, Tajul? What's your take about this?
Um, the
Because
topic
you
about
use AI, I mean, you use Chat GPT a lot, from what
yes,
I know. Yeah.
yes. So the topic about whether it's going to displace our workforce, some jobs are going to be lost and displaced by AI and all that. I mean, it's a hot topic and it's a sensational topic. I think recently I saw on YouTube the interview on with Sam Altman, the OpenAI CEO. He was also posed similar questions around this. My view on this is that I think again, just to recall when I said about this is another inflection point in terms of our human technology evolution, right? So I think we will need to evolve with the tools that we actually created. And this is something very interesting that I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jeff Bezos mentioned this before. We build our tools to help us in our daily work and all that. We change our tools, and then the tools will also change us, right? So we have to adapt. Jobs will not entirely be lost. I think job roles will evolve, right? For example, if I'm not mistaken, back in the 1970s or 1980s when the automated teller machines were first introduced into banks, ATMs, right? So ATM machines, basically what it does is it collects money, it spends money, it states your balance, and it helps you do some basic functions and previously done by the teller. But the teller did not actually lose their jobs. They actually move into different sections or different departments of the bank. For example, customer service, right? So I think this is one example whereby we will evolve with the tools that will be integrated into our industry, into our daily works and whatnot. We just have to move to the higher order of the value chain, right? Having said that, the threat on AI and all that, I think that if your job is very repetitive, it can be somewhat coded or programmed, it will eventually be replaced by a software or an AI eventually. So what we need to do is usually what humans does best, really. So in terms of our creativity, in terms of our empathy, our complex problem solving skills, these are the things that AI have not touched yet, right? So if you ask ChatGPT, it will give you some wonderful answers, but that does not necessarily mean that ChatGPT understands what it is all about, right? So it's a very good large language model. It tends to sort of like trick you, making you think that it is intelligent, right? But intelligence has its limits as of now. So we don't need to be worried, I think, at this point of time. But learn as much as you can with this wonderful tool, right?
All right. Thanks, Tajo. I'm going to throw this question back to Sulin, because she mentioned about how our career path may change. That we no longer like we go from the junior exec and then we have to go. We have to climb the career ladder following the natural law of career progression. But now with AI and all that, it may be different. It may be faster. So, yeah. So Sulin, do you think this with AI with Chat GPT now? For a fresh grad or someone who just entered the workforce, their career path is accelerated? Will it accelerate their career path, or no, in terms of career progression? Or also, so maybe someone not really an entry level, they could be in middle management, and does it help them to climb the career ladder faster?
Yeah, if the target is on fresh graduate, I think one of the thing I observe based on the recruitment experience I have is that fresh graduate, when they come out, a lot of things that most company are looking at is still the attitude, still the soft skill part of it. uh, that there are basic tasks that would expect a person to be able to perform when you apply for the job, and if the company decides to hire you, I'm sure you have the minimum skill sets that already met the requirement. But for fresh graduate level, the assessments are totally different. I think it is still the attitude part of it that we are looking at. But of course, with Chat GPT and all this AI tech, um, someone with intuitive and initiative, you should know, or you should have enough resources to be able to prepare yourself before you enter into any job that's being hired, rather than you still have that kind of spoon feed attitude when you enter into the workforce. So again, tools is there, resources are there. Do we know how to utilize it? When we actually carry out our task, regardless whether you are fresh graduate or experienced people. But if you point that top questions is into fresh graduate, I would say, the learning attitude and the initiative attitude, by getting to know a little bit more about the job and about the company through the Chat GPT, by helping you to understand even better before you enter. By right, it should help you to be noticed by your supervisor and get adapt to the work even faster. But if you are still not utilizing the technology, it will still come back to the same thing.
All right, thanks, Xiu Ling. Yes. Also, maybe just to also to get a feel from the floor about hiring now that with AI, and some of us, like most of us here, have really tried it. We tried using Chat GPT and AI, especially for my industry where we rely on a lot on writing. We do a lot of writing work, copywriting, public relations, press release writing, and so on and so forth. AI actually accelerates this process extremely fast. For those of you who are listening in, maybe also if you can give me a reaction, thumbs up. If does AI help you to, in a sense, not focus so much on hiring more people, or that means you focus more on using AI rather than having more headcount in your company? That means what I'm trying to say is, do you reduce your headcount now that you have the technology in place to help you do your work faster? Anyone here is going through that where you decide to reduce your headcount, reduce hiring your if you're an employer? Yeah, let's see. Nobody is doing that. Yeah. So no one is actually reducing, and you're still maintaining your workforce. You're still getting the same workforce, and you're not reducing your workforce because of the use of AI, right? Yeah. So then the next question, maybe ask to Tajo. What are the industries do you think is most at risk now? Being disrupted. You mentioned some of them that it says very repetitive work and so on. What are those industries precisely, or job functions precisely?
Uh, yeah, if you were to look at industries, I would say because I'm in healthcare, I see tremendous value in the usage of AI in terms of managing the patient's record, right? So traditionally, we've been using hospital systems, we're using medical records, and even before that, writing manuals into files and folders and all that. I see tremendous opportunities for clinicians to actually get some of this uh, transcribing process, writing the patient's record done by AI, and also to do some basic analysis, basic diagnosis, which will actually speed up the patient's diagnosis based on their examinations and all that. I see potentials in there. Also, I see, obviously, we can see in terms of marketing, B2C, business to consumer, people who are big on social media and selling stuff on social media and all that. That is a big impact. If previously you've been running with 4 or 5 people, a copywriter, a videographer, a marketing specialist and whatever not, probably you can reduce it with a combination of 2+1, probably 2 human and one AI. So I think the evolution is going to take place rather slowly in terms of impact on the workforce. I don't think everyone had uh, at this point of time is thinking to like cut half or of their workforce and all that at this point of time, because of several other reasons. We don't know what are the bad implications of AI as well, right? In terms of the data, in terms of the privacy, and all that, right? So people are still learning, but I see potentials, tremendous potentials, industries in terms of healthcare. I see probably in banking. I see in retail. These are some of the industries that I think will be severely impacted, maybe.
Yeah. So Tajo, tapping onto that answer that you have given, so I would say, what type of skills or knowledge that you think will be most in demand in the future job market? Like, for example, now with AI, what type of skills
Hmm.
would be more needed?
I mean, if you come from a more technical computer science background and all that, obviously the opportunity is yours for you to grab. If you're coming from computer science, maths, statistics, data science, and all that, there could be new jobs like an AI trainer, like a model trainer, whereby you will start training models before it's being released to the general public and all that, right? But having said that, for the marketeers, right, you can pick up skills in terms of using Chat GPT. I mean, it uses natural language anyway, right? So what you need to do is to elevate your skills into a higher order lah. So you can look at the more tactical or more strategic marketing aspects to bring value to your organization. So the basic human skills, technical skills, and all that are still pretty much the same. We just have to adapt to a new tool. That's what I'm saying. It's just a new tool.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Also, okay. Coming back to you, Siu-Ling, like how then should the workers of today or even of the future can they prepare for this all these changes that's happening now in the workforce as a result of this disruption of the AI technology?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I would like to quote, two example that is very relevant to my industry, and I've seen it personally. For example, because one of the area is that my company is offering payroll outsourcing services. I think the payroll processor, the person who process payroll, in the past, from where we started many years ago, it is manual and then half manual until our system is being launched. And then now I think I would say, okay, a easier quantifiable number is that example, one payroll processing person initially can handle maybe 1 to 200 headcount of payroll, and then subsequently 400, 600. And today we are recorded at one person can process 1,004 headcount payroll. So so the efficiency has improved, and we still need the payroll processor, of course. And with the AI and with the technologies that we have put in place into our software, it actually helps to speed up the process, and they are able to process even more accurately and efficiently. However, when a person can process, the number of headcount increases, indirectly you will hire lesser processor in your group. So, of course, there are also turnover issues where you have to replace that kind of thing. So what we have done with our payroll processor, for example, who is a processing person, we have actually started incorporating trainings, for them to take up either leadership role or customer interaction role. Because I think one of the critical area of skill that needed, like what you asked just now, are the area where you need critical thinking. You need still a lot of personal touch when especially service industry like us, you still need to talk to client. So payroll processor has a chance of growing the career path or move up to the value chain. If they choose not to going into processing space, they can also move into other space or something more equivalent, like example a HR role. So it depends on which career path that a person is interested. The second example that I have seen based on my previous recruitment experience, especially when I handle a lot of engineering hiring, we have seen in the past manufacturing how it works, and today I think most factory has robotic arm and robotic machines. Even testing is also automated. But one of the area, a very significant area when I work with my partner in putting in AI engine into the system, is that traditional preventive maintenance exercise in manufacturing process is done on a schedule basis. Regardless whether you have problem or not, I will do it on a schedule basis, on a rotation of machines basis. But when we start to introduce AI into the production floor, working with my partners, we realize actually there are certain machines would require we are able to analyze what's going on in the machines, what is going on in the process, and able to tell us there are some certain machines you may have missed out in certain cycle, or when you do your preventive maintenance, you have actually sort of miss out certain steps in ensuring the lifespans of the machines or effectiveness of the machines. So if you can see the whole process is that the AI actually provides you indication, and sometimes even share with you some prescriptions for you to be able to tackle the problem faster or easier. So that's why I would say these are some of the jobs when you can see it's been automated, but again people has changed, people has grown using that tools, and then they improve the skill sets in how to handle all this and analyzing data in order to actually fix those problems. Yeah, so
All right.
that's what I'm observing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Celine, adding on to that, like, what about risk when it comes to AI? The usage of AI, would there be risk associated with bias or misuse, people using it for wrong reasons?
Yeah, possible. Because again, when we talk about AI, it's about learning database. Okay, learning database means it learns from the data that we input. All right, and the source of bias, is actually based on what we have trained the machines, and most of the time the data comes from wide range of resources and perspective. Just like Chat GPT, the more people will use Chat GPT, and somehow, example, if they were to touch on the same topic now, and there will be people from many different countries, many different levels, skill sets, experiences, that may potentially looking for the same topic, looking for some hot topic or trendy topic, and then give and put in the way they ask questions and receive those answers. So these are the way how ChatGPT learn, where it depends on how you actually ask and use those data. So it is possible that it will create biasness in the data that presented in the system, and potentially it will influence the answer provided. So that's why I think one of the, like what you mentioned, the critical skills needed, apart from analyzing all those data, programming, cloud computing, cybersecurity, I think the scientists or developers are working very hard in mitigating all these issues, and putting in skill sets to see how they can actually avoid those biasness. Yeah, that's what's going on right now. Example, like they use the bias detection engine, the algorithm transparency, those kind of stuff. Yeah, they're putting in.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Siu Ling. Okay, before we wrap up, I'd like to also, get a feel from the floor. Any one of you who has already used AI in your company, or you use AI in your work, and you would like to offer your opinion, your thoughts here, just raise your hands, and we would like to hear from you as well. If any of you here would like to add your insights here. So if there's no one here who, I like to just read out this statement that I read from this article called The Mexico Business, about how ChatGPT is already a disruptive force. And this is what the AI actually came up with when they asked the question to the AI function, whether how are you assisting or augmenting human intelligence. There are some statements that they wrote here. The AI itself says, it says, I'm designed to process large amounts of information, but I do not have consciousness, and I do not have personal experiences or emotions, and I do not have the ability to make decisions on my own. So I think that's very important for us to remember also, because yes, that's the very thing that AI lacks. They do not have consciousness. They do not have their personal experiences or emotions. So they rely on, like what Siu Ling said, the data that comes from us, whatever that we have fed into the internet so far, or the system so far. And they do not have the ability to make decisions. They can provide suggestions, but they cannot make decisions. And while AI is actually advancing rapidly, some jobs may become automated. There's always a need for human skills and expertise, such as creativity, empathy, critical thinking, and problem solving. So these are the things that, of course, the AI part will never be able to do. Having said that, for those of you who tried, and I've tried this as well. I asked the Chat GPT to write a book I gave him 2 sentences about what I wanted it to be about. So he came up, it came up with something quite usable. It's not like it's not entirely rubbish, but yeah, it sets you off in the right direction. So the creativity part is not entirely missing, but I think it can be. It's not. It's again based on whatever that he has been. The input has come from them. So that's what I think so far we had from our talk here. So I would like to also thank everyone for joining us again. If any one of you have questions, just post in the comments. Let us know if you have comments about what we have spoken about. We will also make a recording of this later on, available on podcast, and we'll post it up on this particular page as well. So thanks again for joining us. And before we go, Tajul and Siu Ling, are there anything that you would like to add?
No, I think so far all right. I think we have covered most of it. I believe the group here fully understand, if you really have touched and use Chat GPT, I think you really understand. I think not to worry, like what I said just now, the keyword, instead of AI, look into it, they are your IA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really a good,
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Tajo, anything on your side, Tajo? Okay, he's not sure whether he's here. Or we can't hear him. Yeah. So yes, Tajo, do you have anything to add before we wrap up? But I think we are going for exciting times. A lot of exploration. It's a whole new playground here that we are doing this with this Chat GPT, and I think last year nobody even know as Chat GPT, and these 3 months, we are like on an accelerated phase of learning AI and Chat GPT and using it in our work. So I think it's a very exciting time for us this year. So with that, I would like to thank everybody for joining us for this talk, and we hope that it has helped in providing some input and insights to you as well. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah. So
everyone.
yes, bye bye,
And this
everyone.
year for joining us. Bye.
Yeah.